Families of several Americans released by Iran celebrating the return of their loved ones. But one family is still looking for answers. Here is President Obama talking about the former FBI agent, Robert Levinson, believed to still be held hostage in Iran.
Iran has agreed to deepen our coordination as we work to locate Robert Levinson, missing from Iran for more than 8 years. Even as we rejoice in the safe return of others, we will never forget about Bob. Each and every day, but especially today, our hearts are with the Levinson family, and we will not rest until their family is whole again.
Levinson was not among the 5 Americans released late last week when the White House struck that deal to remove sanctions against the dangerous regime. Let's bring in Bob's wife, Christine Levinson, and his son, Dan Levinson. Thank you so much for both being here this morning.
Thank you for having us.
I don't think many people can possibly imagine what you're going through as a family. What did you make of the swap once the president and his administration announced this weekend, and that your husband would not be coming home?
We were devastated, absolutely devastated. We had no information that this was going to happen, and we found out about it on TV just like everyone else did. And it was very disappointing that they had not at least given us some information that this was going to happen.
So you find out about the swap and that these 5 Americans are coming home, but not your father. What information, what is the latest information you've received from your father?
Oh, from our father, we have never had direct contact with him in the almost 9 years since he was abducted. We received a strange video and pictures back in 2010, late 2010, and then 6 months later in 2011. But as the U.S. government has not gotten back to us since the swap. We had one quick phone call where they apologized for not getting to us in advance, but nothing since. We have no idea what the next steps, what the U.S. government is taking, and we're trying to find out answers. We're trying to meet with the top-level administration officials to find out what they're going to be doing now that everybody else is out, now that the nuclear deal is struck, now that the sanctions have been lifted. What next? What can they do for us to get our dad home?
In preparing to speak with you both this morning, I said, can we please pull up the latest statement that anything that we've heard from the State Department on this? And Secretary of State John Kerry, the last time he spoke on your father and the search for your father was in December, and at that time he said Iran's committed to continuing to cooperate with us to determine the whereabouts of Robert Levinson.
Right.
So you have received no update on the actual search. What do you believe that they should be doing actively to find your husband?
Everything they can, and I don't believe it's enough. I know that the FBI has an investigation, and they've always worked very hard for us. They have a $5 million reward out, but unfortunately it's very hard to get information from that area, and they have not received any leads.
On that, the FBI, the reward you're talking about is a $5 million reward.
Yes.
For any information on your husband and your father's whereabouts, right. And you're keeping track of them on social media. You've got hashtag What About Bob, just
right.
to try to find out anything.
Right.
About where your family member is.
We want to raise awareness because this shouldn't happen to any. We're just an average American family, and we've been thrust into this, and we want to make sure that my dad's not forgotten, that ordinary Americans and people around the world, and that's what the point of this hashtag and raising awareness and us continuing to be out there, and we're not going to go away. Everybody needs to know we're not going to go away. We're not going to give up on this, and we're going to keep pressing its case.
For those who don't have all the details of this story, your father disappeared in March 2007, and at that time, what was he doing there?
He was working as a contractor for the CIA, and he was meeting with a contact there. It was supposed to be 24 hours. All information points that he had checked out of his hotel and was picked up by Iranian security forces. In fact, the Iranian state media reported as much, that he was picked up by them. They've denied knowing anything about him since, but everybody believes that the Iranian government knows exactly where he is.
So he was working as a contractor for the CIA. But was there some sort of payout that your family received from the CIA?
Yes, the CIA admitted that they were responsible for him being over there, and my dad was the sole breadwinner. I'm one of 7 children. My mom had no source of income,
right.
And so it was very difficult for her. So she had they provided that settlement for the time being.
So it's hard to project where this is going to go from here, but this prisoner swap, Does that make you, it's a difficult question to ask, but does it make you any less hopeful that the State Department and that the President and his administration are tracking down your husband?
No. Well, it makes me hopeful that they will do their best to get him home because they have promised that, and I take them at their word. Unfortunately, it will never be enough until he is actually here with us.
They've been saying this, we've been hearing this same thing for years and years. The same thing that Secretary Kerry said in December, they just said the other day. It's just not going to be enough because they've had almost 7 years, the Obama administration. This is the last of 2 presidential administrations. And it's absolutely ridiculous that he's still not home by now.
Oh, it's a very difficult story. So if you have any information, hashtag #WhatAboutBob is being used. The FBI is offering a reward.
Right.
But have you received any tips as to your father's health, whereabouts, anything?
There are always tips, but there's nothing that can be confirmed or proven. And so it's really difficult. And that's
all right. All right. Thank you to both of you, Christine and Dan, for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
We wish you all the best, and we'll pray for your father and your husband.
Thank you.